What's up, man? It's the Bronco at the Frog coming at you with another reaction video. Hey, we already did the entire history of the 2014 World Cup. We did the entire history of the now. Hey, get young self the hell up out of here, man. Put that nigga in timeout. We did the Qatar World Cup. Now we got us from the man's top bins. Y'all know man's like top bins. Get top bins to 150,000 subscribers. We have the entire history of the 2018 World Cup. Now, I literally don't know anything about the 2018 World Cup in terms of vibes or in terms of anything. Only thing I know from this World Cup is Argentina versus France. That's the only one I know. Payet hit a mean that banger. All I know is this is the Mbappe World Cup. Young Mbappe came on the scene, then France ended up winning that hoe. That's all I know. Anything outside of that in terms of group stages and whatnot, I know United States of America ain't qualified. You know, we ain't qualified this World Cup. That's probably why it was lame. BD, is that a coincidence? Niggas don't talk about the 2018 World Cup like that. Everybody talk about 2014. Why? Hey, man. Connect the pictures. Read through the lines, baby. Read through the lines. Let's show goes down.
The 2018 World Cup was a carnival of football which will not be forgotten for decades.
It was raining at that hoe?
Stoppage time.
Bro, nigga, it's raining at the World Cup. What Russia had going on, man?
The 2018 World Cup was a carnival of football which will not be forgotten.
Ugh, bro. Was people complaining about this? Oh, it's not World Cup vibes, bro. It's raining, isn't it?
Forgotten for decades, with 9 stoppage time winners, 2 shock semi-finalists, and an emerging star that rewrote the history of the tournament.
Now that do give me aesthetic.
To be the most entertaining World Cup of all time. It was the first major international tournament in which VAR was used, and football felt like an entirely different sport at the time.
The first tournament, just the first one. It took you niggas all of that time to 2018 just to finally implement replay/VAR. Whether you like it or not, whichever stance you stand on, it's just so crazy that something as revolutionary as that got introduced to a sport as historical as football, like just in recent memory. It haven't even been 10 years.
Legends led almost every major nation, with prime-age stars such as Neymar, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Lionel Messi striving to win their respective first World Cup trophies.
Yeah, man.
But somehow, it wasn't these major stars who lit up the tournament, but instead an electric 19-year-old who did the unthinkable.
Kylian Mbappe, who gonna be the new young boy?
19.
To rise to the occasion. Unfortunately, Mean Mall is injured the first 2 group stages, but he still can do his knockout. But Mean Mall is already here. So what was Mbappe's status before this World Cup? Like, how exactly, how known was he? Was he still on Monaco when this happened, or did he already make the change to Paris Saint-Germain? He was already on PSG. So give a current player comparison to Mbappe's status. He already went for, okay. If he went for 180 million already, BD, Mean Mall, bro. So Mbappe was getting best player in the world shouts in 2018. Doué. Now I like the Doué shout. I like the Doué shout. I feel like, you feel me? Because bro, unless people was calling Mbappe the best player in the world, then I don't think it can, in terms of status, I don't feel like it could be up there because niggas dead ass called Lamine Yamal the best player in the world. And he finished top 2 in Ballon d'Or ranking. So come up with somebody other than Mean Mall, bro. Somebody said if he was like Doué with a little bit more PR, we not talking about if he was good or not. We talk about discourse. Better than Doué. He between the Doué and he was in between the Doué and Yamal category. All right, I like that.
19-year-old who did the unthinkable. But how did this all happen? This is the entire story of the 2018 World Cup. Now, very quickly before we get into the drama, I'm going to be covering all things World Cup over the coming months.
No, I seen that.
All I ask is that you subscribe to the channel.
Bro, go subscribe to Top Bins, man.
To me if we could get 200,000 subscribers this year, and I know we can do it.
Go subscribe.
Okay, now let's get into the video. There was something mysterious about the 2018 World Cup. It wasn't like other tournaments played during the 21st century, like Brazil 2014 and Germany 2006, played during the 21st century, like Brazil 2014 and
Damn.
Germany 2006, where the nations were intertwined with the history of the beautiful game and the stadiums were recognizable to casual supporters around the world. Russian football had received limited media representation, forcing many to believe that it was a land filled with crazy football hooligans.
What the hell? Hey, top ends. Hey, we blurring that out straight up on Bronx channel, because you know Bronx, I don't have the leniency as every other channels get. YouTube stay trying to pack Bronx up, so that's for sure getting blurred. I'm talking about them boys was in that hole stomping a mud pile on somebody.
Taking into account the nation's controversial political ideology, it was a tournament that convinced people as it went along, rather than one that was eagerly anticipated for months in advance. But sticking to on-field matters, the 2018 tournament always had the potential to be special. Ronaldo and Messi were at the peak of their powers and tied on 5 Ballon d'Or trophies each. CR7 scored 15 goals during Real Madrid's triumphant Champions League campaign and appeared the most likely candidate to win that year's Ballon d'Or with or without clinching the World Cup that summer. If he pipped Messi to the first World Cup trophy, he'd be ahead of his nemesis on Champions League, Ballon d'Or, and international trophy wins, possibly becoming the greatest player of all time. Yet, winning the World Cup would be challenging for either of the greats. Germany won the 2014 tournament by beating Messi's Argentina in the final and looked even more elegant and unified 4 years later. Meanwhile,
I'm talking about Modric. Yeah, we talking about Modric. Stole that shit.
That's what I do, nigga.
In the final and looked even more elegant and unified 4 years later. Meanwhile, Belgium had world-class players in almost every position.
Belgium
Spain,
hype.
Brazil, and France all look capable of winning
I can't
the
even
tournament,
look. They showed Belgium. I can't even make fun of Belgium no more after they fucked us. You feel me? 26 Belgium, not even gold generation Belgium. So I just sit quiet when Belgium come on the screen.
Nobody could have predicted the way the tournament eventually unfolded.
Group stage.
Russia's World Cup opening ceremony was spectacular.
Russian girls. What y'all European know about them Russian girls? See, bro, weirdly enough, I don't know anything about Russian people. When I think of if you ask me how does Russian people look, I don't know, nigga. I don't know how they look. I dead ass don't know anything about the Russians. If you ask me how does a Brazilian look, I got a look in my head, an Englishman look. I got a look in my head, a Spaniard. I got a look in my head. But a Russian? I don't know.
Football performance that followed. They thrashed Saudi Arabia 5-0 on the opening night of the tournament before defeating Egypt 3-1 5 nights later to top Group A ahead of the final game against Uruguay. The South American nation also won their opening 2 group games 1-0 before beating Russia 3-0 in the final game to progress to the knockout stages as group leaders. Group B was equally enthralling. Ronaldo produced an iconic hat-trick in the opening game against Spain, including a
game. This nigga had a hattie in the opening game? CR7? Say it's not so. Why I ain't never heard about it?
Enthralling. Ronaldo produced an iconic hat-trick in the opening game against Spain, including
Bro, I know the narratives was going crazy after this happened.
Stunning late free kick to square the game at 3-3. Ronaldo netted for a 4th time during the tournament during a 1-0 win against Morocco on match day 2 before drawing to Iran in the final game due to a last-minute penalty from Karim Farid. The draw meant that Spain, who drew with Morocco but beat Iran, advanced to the knockout.
Is that why y'all thought that they was gonna beat us in 2022? Cause they tied with Portugal?
Iran in the final game due to a last-minute penalty from Karim Farid. The draw meant that Spain, who drew with Morocco but beat Iran, advanced to the knockout stages as group leaders, with Portugal joining them in 2nd place.
Damn.
In Group C, France trudged through their opening 2 games, beating Australia 2-1 and Peru 1-0, where the youngster Kylian Mbappe scored the tie's only goal. Mbappe was already among the game's most exciting youngsters, having shocked the world with his 16-17 Champions League campaign for Monaco.
Yeah, man.
But after transferring to PSG and crashing out of the Champions League last 16 the following season, the 2018 World Cup was Mbappe's next chance to prove that he could become the game's greatest. France drew to a pragmatic Danish side that picked up 4 points during their opening games against Peru and Australia to top Group C, with the Scandinavian nation joining them in the last 16. Group D always had the potential to be special. Iceland was making a name for itself in the football world. The 394,000
Oh, they the
person
ones. That
nation
Viking clap went rampant, bro, around the world. Everybody started doing this shit after this happened. After Iceland introduced this.
in-person nation knocked England out of the European Championships 2 years earlier, and they caused another shock during their opening game against Messi's Argentina. After falling behind, they caused another shock during their opening game against Messi's Argentina. After falling behind to an Aguero goal after 19 minutes, Iceland stunned Argentina by equalizing 4 minutes later and holding on for a famous point against the two-time winners. Messi's fortunes did not improve in the following match as a Modric-inspired Croatia team dazzled their way to a 3-0 victory, putting Argentina on the brink of an early elimination. But a late win in their final game against Nigeria ensured that Argentina would cinch second place behind Croatia, who also defeated Iceland and Nigeria. The Slavic nation was just one of 2 teams to take maximum points from the group stages, but surely talks of a run to the final were premature. Part of the reason that an underdog may have been fancied to lift the tournament was due to the underperformance of the elite nations. Brazil drew their opening game with Switzerland in Group E and were reliant on stoppage time goals from Coutinho and Neymar to win their second match against Costa Rica. Still, they turned on this style to beat Serbia 2-0 in the final game to finish top of the group, with Switzerland accompanying them in the knockouts. They had to have got they get back.
Brazil better have finished top of the group after getting slutted out 7-1 in front of the world 4 years prior.
Claiming 5 points. Group F started with one of the shocks of the tournament as Mexico defeated reigning champions Germany 1-0. The 4-time winners.
Okay, LD. L3. I heard shock in the world. I love to see it, man.
Were on the brink of elimination during their second game against Sweden, which they were drawing 1-1 until Toni Kroos scored an iconic last-minute free kick. However, Germany's stoppage time luck ended during the following game. Still within a fighting chance of qualifying, they conceded 2 last-minute goals to South Korea to exit at the first hurdle for the first time since 1938.
World Cup final curse. Them niggas got grew. Well, I don't even know if it's a curse because France stopped that shit. They made it right back to the final after, winning. So I can't even say that. I don't know what happened before. Who won 2010? Was it Spain, right? What happened to Spain in 2014? Grouped? Oh, so it was a curse. Damn. Who won 2008? Damn, I really don't know my World Cup winners. 2006. Oh, that was France or Brazil. No, that was Brazil. Italy. Okay. Because that was the headbutt year, right? These niggas, Italy, how you go from winning in 2006 and they made the past 3 tournaments, bro? They got groups, so it was a curse, but yeah, France just broke it, okay.
It appeared to be the end of the road for stars like Mesut Ozil, Thomas Müller, and Kroos, who had lit up international tournaments for the past decade.
I saw a stat that said this nigga Ronaldinho's last World Cup was at 28 years old. 28. They said R9 or Kaká was 27. They last World Cup game. Niggas used to be out of there early, or the next generation came to come quick. I don't know, but bro, we take longevity for granted, man.
In their place, Sweden and Mexico qualified for the knockouts. Belgium were the strong favorites in Group G. Their team included Eden Hazard, Kevin De Bruyne, and Romelu Lukaku, among several other talents who could win the nation its first ever World Cup trophy. They scored a combined total of 8 against Panama and Tunisia during their opening 2 games before beating England 1-0 in the group's final fixture to finish the group stages with maximum points.
Hold on, did England get grouped? I don't think he brought up England not one time. Oh, they did? Oh, okay, I was going to say.
The group stages with maximum points. England also scored 8 times, 4 of which were bagged by Harry Kane during their opening 2 games and joined Belgium in the knockout stages. Finally, Colombia and Japan progressed from Group H, knocking out Senegal and Poland.
All right, there you go. Now it's round of 16. I don't know why I didn't hear. Mexico got to play Brazil. Them people got fucked. The boy got fucked. Hey, starting the matchups, we got Uruguay versus Portugal. We got France versus Argentina. Hey, this is the match we heard around the world. Even Bronx heard this. Well, obviously, until everybody told me to react to France, Tina. Brazil, Mexico. We got Belgium, Japan. We got Spain and Russia. We got Croatia in Denmark. We got Sweden in Switzerland. And then we got Colombia in England. Now I remember the Colombian and England game. That whole went to penalty shootout, right? Bro, I was taking my mama to the doctor, and I was watching that whole in the office or whatever, and I remember going on Twitter and seeing all the English people, bro, these dirty Colombians, yeah. They're playing so fucking dirty, yeah. These fucking South American scum, yeah. Bro, they was on Twitter hot at them Colombians because I think Colombians was playing haram ball. They was diving at ankles and doing whatever they could. A fro boy from every country. Yes, her.
Where Fall Guys at?
Shout out Angel on Twitch. Subscribe and join the Fro Boy. Appreciate you, Fall Guys, coming. Don't worry about it. We go play it later this stream, BD.
Due to shot group stage finishes, the World Cup bracket appeared unbalanced. France, Argentina, Belgium, Brazil, and Portugal were squashed into one side of the draw, while Spain, which would face Russia in the final 16, was seemingly the only elite nation on the other side of the bracket. It gave hope to dark horses like Croatia, England, Sweden, and Russia.
England, dark horse?
Gave
What?
hope to dark horses like
Them
Croatia,
niggas was dark
England,
horses in 2018. They fell that far off.
Sweden, and Russia that, with a little bit of luck, they could make a sensational charge to the tournament's final. And
You said,
the
yeah, they
shots started
always have.
immediately, opening the tournament up further. Spain faced Russia with a team of all-timers, including Andres Iniesta, Sergio Busquets, and Sergio Ramos. They expected to dance past the hosts, but were left with their tails between their legs. Russia's Sergei
Tails.
Ignashevich handed Spain the advantage after 12 minutes by scoring an own goal. But the Luzhniki Stadium erupted minutes before halftime as Artem Dzyuba leveled the scoring. Spain dominated proceedings with 74% of possession and 24 shots, but were unable to find a breakthrough, and the game went to a penalty shootout.
They out there, hey, they look like PSG Arsenal.
Kelke and Iago Aspas missed from the spot as Russia scored a clean set, sending the hosts to their first ever quarterfinal.
Hey.
To make Russia
This is the energy we need. USA, host nations, aside from Qatar before the World Cup, host nations always had plot armor, right? Hey, United States of America, let's go ahead and make good use of our plot armor. We already used our plot armor to get a favorable group. I'm not saying our group is easy. I'm saying that out of any other group we could have got, bro, this is the top 2 best groups we could have got. Bro, we could have been in a group with France, Norway, and Ghana. My mama. We could have been in a group with Argentina. We could have been in a group with Colombia. Nigga, we in a group with Turkey, eh?
Stole that shit.
Come on, baby.
Russia's victory more exciting, they held a realistic chance of qualifying for the World Cup semifinal as they'd face the winners of the dark horse battle between Croatia and Denmark.
Dark horse battle.
That game started off electrically
He said
with
he'll
a goal
see
for
me
each
after the
side
game.
inside the opening
Alright.
4 minutes. However, neither side could establish an
Oh,
advantage during the
wow.
following
You gotta do that. Oh, they ain't
However,
called no.
neither side could establish an advantage during the following
Bro, if ref ain't called this foul, I don't know what to tell you.
116 minutes, and the game went to penalties. Despite
guess they
misses from
didn't.
Milan Bandel
Ooh.
and Josip Pivaric, Croatia beat Denmark 3-2 on spot kicks, booking their place in the quarterfinals against Russia.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Sweden faced Switzerland in a last 16 battle between 2 lesser-fancied nations. The Swedes conceded 63% of possession and 18 shots, but advanced to the quarterfinals with Emil Forsberg scoring the game's only goal after 66 minutes.
I don't know why, but even if coming in, even that hell just sound like a boring ass matchup. So I'm sorry. Sweden versus Switzerland? That sounds like a 1-0 matchup.
Life after Zlatan Ibrahimovic didn't appear too bad after all. They'd face the winner of an evenly matched last 16 game between England and Colombia. Gareth Southgate's young team established a lead through Harry Kane's 5th goal of the tournament, but were devastated by a 93rd minute equalizer from Yerry Mina. England had lost every single World Cup penalty shootout they'd ever competed in and entered a collective state of dread as the clock ticked closer to penalty kicks. But the nation was elated after Eric Dyer withstood the pressure and scored the decisive penalty kick to set up a
Like I
quarterfinal
said,
date
I
with
remember
Sweden.
seeing this.
Whispers of its coming home transcended into drunken bellows that showed no signs of quieting for the following few weeks. On the other side of the draw, elite nations would clash every couple of days.
I heard that
starting with
music.
the game of the tournament contender.
I heard that
versus
music.
Argentina. During a tie in which legends of the game collided, it was an emerging star that stole the glory. After 11 minutes, Mbappe steamrolled 50 yards with the ball into the box like an Olympic sprinter before being taken down to give France a penalty. From this very moment, it was clear that a superstar had been born. Antoine Griezmann converted from the spot kick after 12 minutes, but Angel Di Maria leveled the scoring with a screamer before halftime, 1-1.
Man's like Di Maria, bro. I don't know what it is about with Di Maria, but this nigga, something is in his DNA, bro. Whatever is in his DNA, I need some of that.
Shortly after the break, Messi swiveled and took a shot that deflected off Gabriel Mercado to send Argentina into the lead, but nobody was prepared for what would happen next. Messi's dreams of World Cup glory began to diminish as Benjamin Pavard scored a sensational
Why do I keep
volley
getting
from
them
outside the box to level the game 2.
Pavard!
And
Bro,
to make matters worse, Mbappe was just getting going. After 64 minutes, the ball landed at the 19-year-old's feet in the box. He expertly took the ball into a step and smashed the ball past the keeper to re-establish France's lead.
In 19!
4 minutes later, the ball fell to Mbappe in the box once more. This time, all he had to do was produce a cool finish, send France into the last 8, and wheel off in celebration. The World Cup was slowly turning into the Mbappe show, while Messi was staring at the prospect of ending his career without...
Is this before or after he retired for the national team? Boy, that boy Neil was ready to end it all, man. This was after he came back. Oh, he was ready.
Without winning the coveted
I am so
international
used to.
tournament.
I'm not used to
With
seeing
Messi
Argentina
out,
lose,
Ronaldo had the
man.
opportunity to prove himself as the game's greatest player
Them niggas
later
be
that
winning
evening
everything
as Portugal
these
faced
days.
Uruguay. But like Messi, Ronaldo ended the night distraught. Edinson Cavani opened the scoring for Uruguay after 7 minutes.
Uruguay packed them up.
Equalized in the 55th minute, and many assumed yet another clutch moment from CR7 awaited. But it was
you ain't got no stash.
Like Messi.
Oh, that's why you ain't got a group. This nigga rocking with the beer with no stash.
Stole that shit.
Oh, who the hell told him to do that?
Ended the night distraught. Edinson Cavani opened the scoring for Uruguay after 7 minutes, but Pepe equalized in the 55th minute, and many assumed yet another clutch moment from CR7 awaited. But it was Cavani who stole the show, adding a second goal of the evening and ultimately helping his nation reach the tournament's final 8. Elsewhere, Brazil were convincing during their 2-0 victory against Mexico, thanks to goals from Neymar and Bobby Firmino. The South American nation were warming into the tournament, and with a handful of elite countries...
They said that shit was so free each, they only allocated 15 seconds of the video to it. They say we could go ahead and skip past this, bro. Brazil slot them boys out. Let's go ahead on to the next one.
Already fallen, a 6th World Cup
in the building.
looked more than achievable. But to win the 2018 tournament, they'd have to avoid a 2014-style embarrassment. They knew that if Belgium defeated Japan in the last 16, they'd face the star-studded side in the quarterfinals. So, all Brazilian eyes were glued to the Rostov Arena later that evening. And it looked like Brazilian supporters would get their wish and face Japan in the quarterfinals after goals from Keki Haraguchi and Takashi Inui sent the Asian nation into a shock 2-0 advantage. But strikes from Jan Vertonghen and Marouane Fellaini leveled the game after 74 minutes before Nasser Chadli broke Japanese hearts by completing the comeback in injury time, concluding an epic
I cannot wait for the World Cup,
16 fixtures.
I cannot wait. Quarterfinals, we got Uruguay versus France. We got Brazil versus Belgium. We got Sweden versus England. That sounds like another boring match. Then we got Russia versus Croatia. He said, look at the shitty bottom side. Yeah, that is some butt down there. I ain't gonna hold you. It is some butt.
With Portugal, Spain, and Argentina joining Germany on early flights home, the quarterfinals were without several of the tournament's favorites. While it meant that there were fewer head-to-head games between elite teams than usual, almost every game at the World Cup felt completely unpredictable, and the shocks wouldn't stop in the quarterfinals. But one outcome had become a formality throughout the tournament. France's domination. After securing 7 points in the group stages and putting 4 past Argentina in the last knockout round, France were establishing themselves as World Cup favorites. Even beyond Mbappe, their squad was stacked, and they needed their team against Uruguay because the 19-year-old suffered a shoulder injury mid-game. Rafael Varane and Samuel Umtiti combined to complete a stellar center-back partnership. N'Golo Kante and Paul Pogba provided a combination of industrious running and indescribable skill in the middle of the park. Antoine Griezmann provided quality in attack, while Olivier Giroud served as an underrated focal point. And it didn't take long for their quality to shine through. After 40 minutes, Griezmann delivered a pinpoint free kick, which Umtiti elegantly headed into the back of the net, while Griezmann got himself on the scoresheet on the other side of the interval by smashing an effort at Fernando Muslera, who spilled
keeper?
the ball
Question mark?
trickle.
In the World Cup knockout stages, in the quarterfinals, keeper?
France beat Uruguay 2-0, setting up a semi-final battle between the winner of Belgium versus Brazil. Brazil and Belgium were 2 of the strongest teams at the 2018 World Cup. Had the teams met in the final, nobody would have been surprised. It was a battle between Neymar and Hazard, Coutinho and De Bruyne and Thiago Silva and company.
Number 3
and
in
nobody
FIFA.
knew whether the 5-time winner and De Bruyne and Thiago Silva and company.
Hey, why didn't anybody tell me company was Belgian? What the hell? I thought this nigga was German. Just because he coached Bayern Munich, innit? Victor sound like a German name.
And nobody knew whether the 5-time winners or the Belgian golden generation would come out on top. But Brazil's chances were almost instantly dented. A lethal corner taken by Nasser Chadli deflected off Fernandinho into the Brazil goal before the game had really got going. 1-0. After 31 minutes, De Bruyne added a second by powering a shot from the edge of the box into the corner's left hole. The score was 2-0, and Belgium were on the brink of reaching their first World Cup semi-final in 32 years. Belgium maintained their 2-goal advantage until the 76th minute when Renato Augusto pulled one back, but it was too late for Brazil. Company and co. would march on to face France in the semi-final. But first, 2 more epic quarterfinal ties were playing. England's young team, featuring Harry Kane, Dele Alli, John Stones, and Kyle Walker, was growing in confidence. But the nation had been let down in too many recent international tournaments to approach the quarterfinal versus Sweden as anything other than a challenge. After all, the Swedes had only conceded twice throughout the entirety of the 2018 World Cup, but they were yet to face Harry Maguire. At the time, Maguire was just 25 years old and hadn't yet become a meme online. The center-back smashed a header past Robin Olsen to open the scoring after 39 minutes before Dele Alli doubled England's advantage with another header after 59 minutes. The Lions were through to their first World Cup semi-final since 1990, and the hope of reaching a first final since 1966 was exploding as England knew that they'd face the winner of Croatia and Russia in the next round. Neither Croatia nor Russia were listed among the favorites before the World Cup began, but both nations had enjoyed undeniably strong tournaments. Croatia picked up maximum points from the group stages and had already defeated Argentina and Brazil, while Russia's 8 group stage goals and penalty shootout victory over Spain made them hard to ignore. Denis Cheryshev opened the scoring for Russia after 31 minutes, but Andrei Kramaric leveled the scoring just a few minutes.
Now to say so of America. Y'all watching? Y'all paying attention? This is how you do it as home nation.
And Brazil, while
Fuck
Russia's
it.
8 group stage goal,
You boom.
Denis Cheryshev
Nigga, you the
opened
home
scoring
nation.
for
Fuck
Russia
it.
after
Block it.
31 minutes, but
Fuck
Andrei
it.
Kramaric.
My mama.
Cheryshev opened the scoring for Russia
Block.
after 31 minutes, but Andrei Kramaric leveled the scoring just a few minutes later. The game remained deadlocked for the rest of the 90 minutes, forcing an erratic extra time period where both sides scored again thanks to goals from Domagoj Vida and Mario Fernandes. For the second round in a row, the fates of Croatia and Russia would be decided by a penalty shootout. Russia's Fyodor Smolov missed the first penalty, while Marcelo decided by a penalty shootout. Russia's Fyodor Smolov missed the
just that one arm. He just I saved it. Just stick that arm out there.
Russia's Fyodor Smolov missed the first penalty, while Marcelo Brozovic scored for Croatia. During the next round, Mateo Kovacic missed for Croatia, giving Russia hope, but a miss from Mario Fernandes later in the shootout ultimately put Croatia's place in the Final Four.
His home country? This nigga pulled a Maduki.
But a miss from Mario Fernandez later in the shootout ultimately
Y'all know what's crazy about the Gabriel, and I'm mad I couldn't upload that on YouTube, or I ain't had time because I was traveling to Charlotte. Y'all remember I was sitting there, I was like, bro, please sky it, please sky it. I feel like we all just knew that this nigga Gabriel was go sky that pin, bro. He's a defender, and he's Brazilian, and it was just in the air. Knew he was going over that bar.
Croatia's place in the Final Four.
Semifinals, we got Croatia and England. We got France, Belgium. I wonder, was this game a dud? I don't really hear about this France and Belgium game.
It was set to be a semifinal like no other, with fewer previous World Cup winners participating than any tournament since 1998. While England and France had each won the World Cup on a solitary occasion, neither Croatia nor Belgium had ever reached a final.
So who was everybody going for? I would doubt that people was going for France since they won it before plenty of times. But Belgium, Croatia never won, and England ain't won since the 60s. So who was everybody's going for Belgium? Okay, as long as Belgium and Croatia was the two darling favorites.
It was set to be a semifinal like no other, with fewer previous World Cup winners participating than any tournament since 1998. While England and France had each won the World Cup on a solitary occasion, neither Croatia nor Belgium had ever reached a final, let alone lifted the trophy. Given that the tournament had already featured 9 winning goals in added time, 5 more than any other World Cup, it was set to be a semifinal week of mayhem. First, France faced Belgium at Krastomski Stadium. During the first half, chances were squandered at both ends, but the sides entered the break level. 6 minutes into the second half, there was a breakthrough. Umtiti continued his fine form and converted Griezmann's cross to put France into the lead. The duo had both produced world-class performances throughout the World Cup and were establishing themselves as player of the tournament contenders should Mbappe fail to continue working his magic. The 19-year-old was uncharacteristic.
Did he just say that Giroud had 0 shots on target the whole World Cup and played every game? Oh, Giroud. And he's France's all-time leading scorer, too.
Stole that shit.
Unless Mbappe took it.
Statistically quiet throughout the remainder of the semifinal against Belgium, but France held on to their 1-0 lead without having to withstand too much pressure from their opponents. It marked the first time that the French had reached a World Cup final since their 2006 defeat to Italy, where Zinedine Zidane shockingly headbutted Marco Materazzi to receive a red card in extra time. While Zizou was playing his final game during that final, their new talisman had his entire career ahead of him, eager to establish a World Cup legacy alongside the greats. But before Mbappe and his French teammates would step onto the field again for the World Cup final, they'd watch the tournament's other semifinal, England versus Croatia. Gareth Southgate had culturally revolutionized England, completing the impossible task of making the media, supporters, and players work together rather than against one another. The result was deadly. While the English did not have the most technically gifted or experienced team of the 2018 World Cup, they developed a chemistry, likability, and passion that made supporters slowly start to dream of a first World Cup win since 1966. But their Croatian opponents weren't an easy match. While the nation only has 3.87 million inhabitants compared to England's 58 million, some of those citizens included stars like Luka Modric, Ivan Perisic, Mateo Kovacic, and Ivan Rakitic. It's a terrific footballing nation that defies its size, and they were determined to make history and become the smallest nation by population to ever win the World Cup. But the semifinal did not start well for the Croatians. After 4 minutes, fullback Kieran Trippier struck a glorious free kick from 30 yards out to put England into the lead. The players celebrated in a bundle as if they'd already won the tournament, but the remainder of the game did not go as expected. Overwhelmed by the pressure of leading a World Cup semifinal, England sat back and allowed Croatia to attack. Given that
man. Yep. We know how them Englishmen get down. They score one. They remind. Who does that remind? What does that remind us of? The damn Champions League final. Arsenal scored they 1 goal. And the Arsenal is even more embarrassing because they scored they 1 goal 5 minutes in and sat back. They sat back with 5 minutes on the fucking clock, bro. 85 minutes left to play in the game, and these niggas said, yeah, we finna defend these remaining 85 minutes, and thought that it was gonna work. That is disgusting football right there. If PSG would have let them niggas win that Champions League, bro, I would have been, oh, man.
Overwhelmed by the pressure of leading a World Cup semifinal, England sat back and allowed Croatia to attack. Given that England had been so free-scoring throughout the tournament, it seemed a misguided tactic. And eventually, Croatia made England pay with an equalizer from Perisic midway through the second half.
Yeah.
By this point, the game's momentum had shifted, and Croatia looked more likely to secure a winner as the game went into extra time. After 108 minutes, Mario Mandzukic broke the hearts of a football-obsessed nation by converting from inside the box and sending Croatia
we coming to
its
win.
first ever World Cup final.
We coming to win, baby. Hey, I'm after this video end, we gonna go look at we ain't gonna watch the whole thing. I'm just gonna go to when England hit that free kick to see how teed up everybody was.
The celebrations from the Croatia players and fans after the game were wild, but after the dust had settled, they must have felt fearful.
I know there was probably a random ass final.
France
like, what the fuck,
and
France or Croatia?
France versus Croatia. Mbappe versus Modric. The final would be a battle.
Have Croatia been the first?
And scored the decisive penalty kick to set up having all winning the trophy.
Was Croatia the first,
like the final in 20 against an opponent?
Before Croatia, who was the last small country to be in the final? Was they the first? Outside of like the 30s and all of that. He said, shit, I don't know. I think they probably was the first small country to be in the final.
Knowing that their World Cup final opponents were France and Mbappe. France versus Croatia. Mbappe versus Modric. The final would be a battle between arguably the most dominant international force in the last 20 against an opponent rarely considered as anything more than a dark horse. The French won the World Cup in '98 and reached the final in '06. Their European Championships record was equally stellar, winning the trophy in 2000 and reaching a final in 2016. It was time for a new generation of players to weave their names in the history of one of football's most iconic nations. Mbappe was playing in the image of Thierry Henry. Griezmann had similarities to Michel Platini, while Pogba had moments of genius comparable to Zidane. But like the legends of yesteryear, they'd have to beat an impressive team to get their hands on the trophy. Modric produced a World Cup campaign that made him a front-runner for the Ballon d'Or, having already won the Champions League with Real Madrid. Subasic was like a brick wall in goal, while Rakitic, Perisic, and Mandzukic offered elite quality elsewhere on the field. It was clear that Croatia was not just a dark horse and could genuinely challenge France in a final that the world would stop to watch. But after 18 minutes, Mandzukic, the man who sent Croatia wild by scoring the winner in the semi-final against England, headed a free kick from Griezmann into his own net. 10 minutes later, Perisic equalized by hitting a shot from the edge of the box into the right-hand corner.
We go.
1-1 and game on. However, the game didn't remain a contest for long. Another 10 minutes later, VAR awarded a penalty to France for a handball in the area, which Griezmann converted with the composure of a man who knew the ending before the story began. With a goal and an assist in the final, complementing an already impressive World Cup, Griezmann looked set to win the Player of the Tournament award and even throw his name into contention for that year's Ballon d'Or. And his World Cup final performance kept getting better. After 59 minutes, he juggled with the ball in the Croatian box before laying it off to Pogba, who powered the ball into the net, 3-1. Then, after 65 minutes, Mbappe decided it was his time to get in on the action. He received the ball from 30 yards out and smashed home his first World Cup final goal to make the scoreline 4-1. It was Mbappe's fourth goal of the tournament, making his World Cup arguably the greatest teenage performance of all time. In fact, a teenager had not scored in the tournament's final since Pelé did in 1958, and Mbappe appeared to be on the same trajectory as one of the game's all-time greats. However, France goalkeeper Hugo Lloris must have been reading the headlines mid-game. After 69 minutes, he was tackled by Mandzukic, who tapped the ball into the empty net to make the scoreline 4-2, but the damage was already done. France dominated the final 20 minutes and lifted their second World Cup trophy.
That nigga knew.
Croatia's Modric had dominated.
Hey, somebody check Hugo Lloris' bank account, man.
The game's
check his bank account.
Greats.
I'm pretty sure he got a
mean
ass
France
deposit.
Goalkeeper Hugo Lloris must have been reading the headlines mid-game.
Also Major League Soccer,
minutes,
LAFC.
He was tackled by Mandzukic, who tapped the ball into the empty net to make the scoreline 4-2, but the damage was already done. France dominated the final 20 minutes and lifted their second World Cup trophy.
Oh, it was just their
Croatia's
second.
Modric had dominated club football for much of the last decade, but looked set to go his international career trophyless, given that he was 32 at the time of the final. Still, not winning a major tournament for
this
Croatia
nigga
is
old.
hardly...
He was 32 in 2018. Woo! Golly. And that nigga's still here. He's on the Croatian team, right? And boy, 40. Beat it. Well, CR7 is 40 also. So, yeah, hey, like I said, appreciate longevity.
A crime, and the Real Madrid superstar had inspired a tiny nation with his elegance and technical ability throughout the tournament. He was voted the World Cup's player of the tournament and went on to become the first player in several years to snatch the Ballon d'Or away from Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi.
Shit.
So,
what I
the
do,
tournament,
nigga.
which was supposed to indicate who was superior between
nigga, I
Ronaldo
stole
and
that
Messi,
shit.
eventually showed that while their greatness was incomparable to anything else on the planet, international football is as much about leadership, chemistry, and spirit as it is about individual quality.
All right, man. Hey. Man's like Top Bins. Go subscribe to them. They trying to hit 200K. Let's get them to 150K. Let's do our part, man, for always making great videos. The entire story of the 2018 World Cup. Let me know down in the comments. Where do y'all stack up the 2018 World Cup versus all the World Cups that y'all have watched? Hey, cannot wait to the 2026 World Cup. Oh, my mama, I am ready. Everybody keeps saying, bro, I'm the only one that's not hyped for the World Cup. Oh, yeah, nigga. Because I'm hyped in a hoe. I'm ready. My mama, I'm out.